So, Jaswindra, can you tell me about your roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, good afternoon. So this is Jaswindra Kumar, and I'm chief graduate from Pamukon University, 8.5 GPA. And currently I have taken 4 years of experience as a student in Java developer. And my current company is Creative Expert Consulting Private Limited. And I have a hands-on experience upon various technologies like Spring, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Hibernate, SOAP-based web services, RESTful, Angular, and HTML, CSS, jQuery, Java. And my current project is FSM, that is fast food marketers. The client is from Saudi Arabia. And this application is totally based on the integration from Zoho, Celigo, and Oracle NetSuite. And this project also contains the modules, admin modules, vendors, and customer modules. And in this, my roles and responsibilities like to gather the requirement from the client and the designing part and meetings with project manager and the client on the new enhancement or any other issue if it is there. And business logic I have to write the business logic and all, give the ideas about that. And if any third party is, if Zoho is there, so in Zoho, if any issue was there like connection creation or SSL handshake exception is there, so to resolve that, to raise the ticket with Zoho support team, and all these things are done by me.
Okay, super. So, on what version of Java have you worked?
Java 1.7 I work.
Java 1.7?
Yes.
So, what all features of Java 1.7 you have used?
Yeah, actually, Java 1.7, the features is like try with resources, and the other one is forgetting. But that is minor, I think. Try with resources, I didn't use any time, but it is there in Java 1.7.
Okay. So, do you know like what are solid principles?
Solid principle.
Yeah.
Of what solid principle means? I'm not getting the question.
Okay, fine. So you have any idea on design patterns?
Yeah, I have idea about the design pattern.
Yeah.
Like singleton factory and so.
Yeah, even I could say singleton factory proxy builder. Yeah. What is singleton? Like how do you create your customer singleton class or?
Yeah. So basically, singleton design pattern is used to create the instance of the class that is basically the stateless, which class don't have the stateful, and this class is also called factory because this class doesn't allow another class to create its instance.
Okay.
It only create the instance and give to other classes. And yeah, also I know MVC design pattern and.
No. Can you tell us like how can we create a singleton class, customized singleton class? Yeah. What is the process?
Yeah, fine. So basically, a singleton class we have to create the constructor as a private, and we keep the attribute of the same class as static, which gives the instance, which holds the instance, and one method that is factory method, which returns the instance of that class. And with synchronized keyword and with double lock. With double lock, we create like that.
Why do we need double lock?
Yeah, in the multi-threaded environment, if one thread is inside the one lock and other thread is inside other lock, so to avoid that inconsistent creation of that object, we
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm not getting your voice out. Like, why do we need double lock?
Yeah. We use double lock in multi-threaded environment. When the multiple threads are working on that, if one thread is inside, if condition is there, if instance equal to null. So if it is inside there, so and after that one thread is also inside the second lock. So if instance is already created, so it will again create the new instance. To avoid that inconsistent, we use double lock. So it will direct return the instance. If one thread goes inside that when creation of that singleton class object, so our other thread will get the same. It will return from there. No need to check again. So that's why we use double thread. This is the best practice, using the double lock.
Okay, suppose this is a scenario, like I have two threads. I have started two threads at the same time, and two threads are executing exactly at the same time, and they are trying to create a singleton object. In this scenario, will the singleton class behavior will be breaked and two class instances will be created, or only one will be created here?
See, if we use synchronized keyword on that class, so only one thread will first goes up on creation of that class object, and after that the other thread will be allowed.
Yeah, if we are having synchronized keyword, right, then what is the need of double check?
Yes, fine. So I thought that we use like that this is the best practice to avoid that to break the singleton design pattern like that.
Okay, fine. So do you have any experience in exceptions, like working on exceptions, creating exceptions?
Yeah, I have. You can ask questions.
Yeah. Like what is the difference between throw and throws?
Yeah. Throws keyword is used for we have the cached exception, means checked exception. So when we don't want to catch that exception specifically, so we just throw that. We said to compiler that we are not handling that exception. The calling method will handle the exception. So at that time, throw keyword is used. And throw keyword used when we want our custom exception, we want to throw our custom exception, then we go for the throw keyword. So basically this is for the customized exception we throw to the user.
Okay, fine. Can you tell me, like, in which scenario we will use you will use comparator, and in which scenario you will use comparable?
Comparator and comparable.
Yeah.
See, both are for using the sorting the objects or elements. So basically, comparable is the interface, and it is already used in string and all wrapper classes implement comparable. And if we write our own custom class like employee or product or something, so we go for the comparator class. And in comparator class, we also use for default natural sorting order or customized sorting order. But in comparable, that is only for the default natural sorting order.
So what are the methods present in those interfaces?
Method in comparator, compare and equals method is there. So we have to override the compare method. And in comparable, compare to method is there.
In comparator, we have compare to method.
Yeah, in comparable, we have compare to method. In comparator, we have compare method.
No. Can you repeat it again? In which interface we have what method?
In comparable, compare two methods is there.
Okay. Fine.
It is wrong.
No, fine. In what all collection classes you have worked on?
Sorry?
What all collection classes you have worked on?
Yeah. A bit.
Your voice is not coming. Yeah, I couldn't hear. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. Basically, I worked on list, math, and sometimes state.
Sometimes?
State interest.
Set. You work. I asked like what all classes you have worked. You just told me the interfaces names like.
Sorry, your voice is not heard.
No. I just asked what all classes you have worked on in collection.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that okay, fine. That is array list, linked list, and hash map. Okay. And hash map and hash tag.
Okay. Can you tell me like how linked list works internally?
Linked list is actually worked like that. The internally data structure used is Dublin linked list, and it is basically worked on based on the node. So it accepts the null value, and basically it is worked like data structure linked list. So it has the nodes of it having the address of the next node and the previous node, and it travels through the nodes only.
Okay. In which scenario we will use the linked list, and in which scenario we should use array list?
When we want to go for the search operation, so then we go for the array list, that is best. And when we have to insert or delete from the middle of the element in the linked list, so then we go for linked list.
Okay. So how does hashmap works internally? Just small idea, just give me like how does it work?
Yeah, hashmap works internally on the basis of hashing technique, in which when we use the put method, so it will create the hash code of that object, and it's put into the bucket. If we create the hash map, so it generally creates the 16 bucket 0 to 15, and it's divided with the 16, and whatever the number comes, is keep that object in that bucket.
Fine.
Yeah.
Can we insert nulls into tree set?
Sorry, please once again.
Can we insert null objects into tree set?
Tree set. Actually, till 1.6 version, we can use the null. If the object is tree set object is empty, we can use null. But after 1.7 version, we can't accept null, use null inside the tree map.
Okay, fine. So you have experience in creating customized annotations.
Actually, customized annotation you are asking?
Yeah, Spring annotation. Custom implement, you have written that knowledge and custom implementation of Spring annotations.
Actually, I saw in the project for Intercept, but I didn't get chance to implement this customized annotation.
Okay, fine. What all annotations you have worked on Spring or Spring Boot?
Yeah, there are many annotations we used, like @Spring.
What is @?
That is actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, gate mapping, post mapping, push mapping, and auto wire, required qualifier, and enable web MVC, enable string security.
Okay, fine. Yeah, what is the like why, what is the importance of @qualifier annotation?
What is the
Importance or when do you use @qualifier annotations?
yeah? If in our project, if we use Spring Bean, Spring Bean or Bean, so if that is 2 or 3, more than 1, so to avoid the confliction of names, so we use that @qualifier. Means if we use @AutoWire, so AutoWire is worked on the data type. So basically, if there is 3 or means 2 or more than 2, so if ambiguity problem came, that's why we use qualifier and we provide that bean name. So it's resolved. It's working fine.
Okay. If at all I'm using @AutoWire annotation at the class, can I create multiple objects or beans for that class?
Sorry, can we create multiple beans for that group?
Yeah, and what is the need for creating multiple beans when the same object is getting created again and again?
Yeah, that is good question, but according to me, sometimes, let me think. See, when we have the class and if we have to pass something, I think, means different values, so that time we can create multiple beans of the same class. Like in Spring, we created like means 2, 3 in configuration file, 2, 3 beans we created, and we provide the different value in 3 of the beans.
Yeah, in through XML configuration we can do that. Can we do that using @AutoWord annotation?
No, actually I see that in the same XML file also we can define two beans.
Yeah, I accept. I know, like in the XML file we can have same class multiple times, multiple number of beans. Can that be achieved through @AutoWord?
Yeah, we can use @AutoWord. We have to give, I think, name of the bean.
Okay, so if there are 3 objects getting created, so the name of the bean will change for 3 objects?
Yeah, okay. I'm not getting idea.
Yeah, no problem. You have worked on Spring Boot, right?
Yeah.
What is the advantage Spring Boot provides?
Yeah, there are many advantages are there. First advantage is zero configuration. If we use Spring, so we have to write multiple configuration file and we have to provide the configuration. But here, the minimum configuration is needed, and we can say that zero configuration is provided by Spring Boot. And the other is dependency resolution. So while we add Spring Boot starter parent version, so according to that, or based on that, it will add corresponding Spring framework related all other dependencies.
Can you name few what all other dependencies that get added on?
Like if we use JPA, so Hibernate related or JPA related other dependencies like Hikari for connection pooling, and all these things are already there inside that.
Okay, if suppose I have mentioned this dependency, like you said JPA dependency in pom.xml, but I don't want the Hibernate class related class getting created, or how can I avoid that?
Means you don't want Hibernate.
Yeah, you said like if you configure JPA in the pom.xml, Hibernate related classes or the stuff related to Hibernate will get downloaded, right?
Yes.
But my application doesn't use Hibernate and it uses some other JPA framework. So how can I avoid that thing, like Hibernate getting configured or getting downloaded?
So, see, in my current project, I didn't work like that, but by using the JPA starter, we configured the Hibernate. So I can tell you like that how we configured. So what you are asking, that is good question, but I never gone through like that.
Okay, fine. You people use Hibernate, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me like how your application uses Hibernate and get interacted with DB?
Yeah, actually what we did, that we provide the data sources, and first we exclude all the classes which auto-configured when we add the dependencies of JPA, like data source auto-configuration and transaction auto-configuration, and third one is
So in the same way, can we exclude Hibernate configuration also?
No, why we exclude Hibernate configuration?
No. This was related to my previous question. Can we exclude the same way?
Sorry, I'm not getting your question.
Okay, fine. You continue.
See, what I want to explain that when we add the JPA starter dependency, it already download all the JPA related, Hibernate related dependencies. Fine? It's already downloaded. And it's already configured with @auto configuration one annotation is there. By using that, by seeing the dependencies, it enables the JPA related configuration and all. In application web properties, we have to provide only the string.data source URL and all username, password, and all these things, driver name, like that. But I said that we didn't use JPA. We used Hibernate instead of JPA. So, for the configuration of Hibernate, what we did, I was explaining that. Okay. So what we did, we exclude the auto configuration file, that is 3-4 files is there, that exclude. So it doesn't configure the JPA. And we explicitly provide the data source, transaction, and the session factory. We created explicitly and give to the Spring Boot. So, and after that we get the session factory and we work on with the Hibernate, like that. I'm trying to explain it.
Yeah, but how do we get the session factory?
Yeah, that is the good question, that how that we got the session factory. Okay, fine. So in resource folder, we write that Hibernate.properties and data source.html. So in data source.html, we see that in Spring Bean configuration file how we write that Hibernate configuration and all. Like that, we provided that thing. And in Hibernate.properties, we give all the database related URL, username, and password, dialect, and all these things.
Now, where do you give these things?
Sorry?
Where do you mention all these things? This dialect, database configuration, username, password?
In Hibernate, we create a Hibernate.properties file. Okay. And after that, we write one data source.xml, and inside that, we create the bean. And we read that Hibernate.dialect and all these things. And bean ID, like we use here the class, in Spring we use local session factory bean. Same data source we use here, and we use the Hibernate properties. And after that, we use the basic data source and local transaction of Spring framework. And we return the session factory like that we using earlier our Spring framework, and we use this thing. This is the customization of Hibernate, and we are using Hibernate here.
Okay,
Maybe
fine.
yeah.
Got it. Like, why do we use Swagger? What is the purpose of Swagger?
Okay, I will explain what is Swagger. I will explain. Actually, why we are using Hibernate means we need more flexibility. So that's why I asked this question to my lead, that why we are using if JPA is there. So she told me that for more flexibility we are using like that.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah. Like, can you tell me what is Swagger?
Yeah. See, I can explain this like this. When we have the soap-based services, we have a visual file, WFTL. So inside that, all the related things, means class, what is the attribute, all these things, what is the endpoints, all things are there. But for the RESTful, REST Spring services, or we can say REST endpoints, there is there was not alternative, means there is documentation and all this things. Then Swagger comes into the picture. This is basically for the development of documentation, to provide the other developers to understand the endpoints. So what will be the URI, means endpoints, what we have to pass the parameters, and what will the response, return type, these things defined here. So basically this is for the documentation of that endpoints.
Okay, super. So you have used Maven, right? Maven and both.
Yeah,
So
Maven project. Yeah, Maven project we are using.
And even Ant you have used?
No, Ant I didn't use. Maven I used.
Fine.
But both are the that build tool. And means Maven is more flexible than Ant, but both are the building tools I know. But I didn't work on Ant.
Okay, fine. You have experience on Angular, right?
Yeah, Angular I know.
Which version?
1.6.
1 point?
1.6.
1.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between like promise and observable?
Sorry?
Like, what is the difference between promise and observable?
Oh, promise and observable.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Actually, I used observable.
Okay. You can tell about that only. No problem.
Sorry?
Now you can tell about observable only. No problem.
Yeah. When we hit the any request from the service class from Angular, so when the response is coming, so we hold that response inside the observable. So that time we are using observable, and after the subscribed keyword use, so we get one by one like that we use.
Okay, fine. Like, can you tell me like what exactly Angular is, like what is the benefit that is providing?
Yeah, Angular, basically Angular is a framework for the JavaScript, we can say, like Spring and Spring Boot, which is comes for the Java. So basically the advantage of Angular is that we have the endpoints, and we can manage that endpoints and all other stuff like view, and we can write the business logic and all these things in our Angular only. So basically this is make easy work if we can create the endpoints, so we can use that endpoint in web also, Android and iOS. In three of these things, we can use the same endpoint. So after that, in Angular, whatever we want customization, we can do for the view, and we can also write the business logic in our component class and all these things. Or we can directly also connect with the database if the application is small, and all these things we can do. So basically it is called SP, a single page application Angular. So these are the advantages.
Like why it is called single page application?
Why it is called single page application means we can create a single page. This is very simple to create any application. So maybe that's why. But exactly the main reason I don't know.
Fine. Like can you tell me like what is ng on init method and when to use it?
ng
On init.
Oh yeah, ng on init is a hookup method of Angular life cycle. So yeah, basically when the object of the component is created, so it's called one time. So yeah, that is the ng.
So what code can we write inside that?
Sorry?
What code can we write inside that? I'm saying like why we use
Auth code.
what code can we write inside that method? I'm asking.
Oh, what code? Sorry. Inside that we pass, we inject something like we do this. Actually, yeah. When we create the object of that component, so that time we pass like we slice the value or something like that, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Fine. No problem. So in how many ways can we transfer the data between the components? Like
yeah, there is many ways, 2 or 3 ways, but basically I use that is one way, that is @input and @output decorator. Yeah, the component interaction. So basically, when we have to transfer from the parent to child, so we use input decorator, and we use that data attribute, we can say attribute, and in the child selector, we pass that. Like we have parent data, we define input public parent data. So that parent data in the template we can define like that. So basically we use @input and @output. And while from child to parent, if we go for the component interaction, so we use event emitter. One method is there, event emitter. We have to fire the one event to pass that value from child to parent. Like that we can communicate. And other way is also one subject is there, but I don't have enough idea about that. But I listen with my colleague that one another way is there, that is called subject.
okay.
I didn't get any response.
Fine. Like what are directives in Angular?
Yeah, directives I know. there are multiple directives in Angular. So can I explain?
Yeah, explain. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, there is NG issues there. So NG directive is used to some add or remove the HTML element based on the conditions. So like in some element is tag is HTML element is there H2. So if we define some name or something, so we use star ng is, and we can provide the static, or we can provide the binding which comes from our component class, and on the basis of that true or false it will show that element, that is ng. And after that after that ng switch is there, that directive is ng switch. In Angular we also know switch is in our Java is also there. So basically the ng switch directive is used here if something match. If something match, so it will show the element. So based on that it works. This will show the expression when it matches with the data, and we bind with that one-way binding, that ng is equal to something which can pass color or something. So like that we can use ng switch. And the other is ng store directive, which is used for loop anything. Means if we have the list of data, so we want to store in the table or any list, so we go for the ng store.
Okay, fine, got it. Can you explain like different types of data binding in Angular?
Basically, there are two ways of data binding. That is one way and two way. So in one way data binding, basically it is from the template to view, and the two-way data binding, it will go to template to view and view. Template is also template to component and component to template.
Yeah.
Two-way data binding. So basically ng model directive is used with big bracket, and inside that a small bracket, and ng model is there. So that is used for two-way binding. So it will transfer from template to component and component to template. This is. And there is only the big bracket, that is one-way binding, that is it is moved from the component to template. The data flow.
Okay, fine. So anything about event binding? Have you heard about event binding?
Event binding? Yeah, actually event binding, we use that small bracket for the event binding. That data flows from the template to class, and when we both use them, it is called that two-way binding.
Okay, fine, man. So these were the questions from my end. Anything from your end you want to ask?
You are done?
Yeah, I'm done. Hey, one last thing. Do you people follow Agile?
Yeah, I do follow.
You people follow, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, then I'm done from my end.
That is the sprint wise, and in 3 weeks we have to submit the work, and we have the Scrum meeting every day.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I have some question that this job is for the which location?
It is for Hyderabad or Bangalore. Anything, if wherever you want to take, you can take it.
Okay. Basically, I'm in Hyderabad.
Okay.
And the other thing is on which technology this job is?
It is depends on the project money in which you get selected. Like we have like close to 8 to 9 projects with the latest technologies. In the front end, you will be having Angular. maybe the version will be different, like some are using 4, some are using 6, some are using 8. And at the back end you will find like Java 1.8 version, and in few application we use Apache Camel, in few we use REST, and there is only one project which uses SOAP. And coming to the database connectivity, like a few projects use MyBatis and 1 or 2 projects use Hibernate also.
Okay. So how was my presentation? Can you give me the suggestion or feedback, please? How I have to.
No, you were good.
Okay, so in next round, okay, that will be HR will say.
I'm not sure which round will be there, like directly HR or anything. I'll just forward my feedback to my manager. It's up to him whether how to proceed on that.
Okay, then thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.